Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and another review. I just got back from seeing Hatching at the theater, so let's talk about it. In this movie, a young gymnast who tries desperately to please her demanding mother discovers a strange egg. She hides it and keeps it warm, but when it hatches, what emerges shocks them all. So my anticipation going into this film was non-existent. I'd say I haven't seen a trailer for it. Went in completely blind. Just saw that it was a new movie this week. There wasn't a whole lot coming out this week that I was familiar with, so I just kind of saw which ones were showing at the local theater, and this was one of them. So saw that it got like 90% or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. So even though it's a horror film and I don't generally enjoy horror films, I'm interested if they tend to have good reviews and or are accompanied by a good story. I can enjoy a horror film if it's got other good elements to it. So, is this that sort of movie? Let's talk about what I thought of the movie. So first up, of the things that I liked, we'll kind of get to I think how I enjoyed this film will come across pretty quickly here. I can't think of anything that I actually liked about this film other than I think like the opening shot or scene where it's kind of panning over some of the surrounding landscape with like a bunch of pine trees and all of the natural lighting. I thought that was a really gorgeous shot, but that's basically all that comes to mind for what I liked about the film. We'll get into the specifics here, but I got a list of the things I didn't really care for, and kind of off the gate, it's mainly all the different characters. So I didn't think the story was all that interesting, and that kind of stems from I didn't really care for any of the characters. I didn't think any of them were all that interesting in and of themselves. So it just made it very much not really enjoyable for me, especially given that to begin with, I don't enjoy horror and I don't enjoy being scared or the grotesque sort of things. Like everything that makes horror, I don't like those parts. But I'll get through I'll enjoy a movie well enough if it's a horror film that has a lot of good other stuff in it that isn't the horror stuff. So I mean, yeah, going over the main character, I think her name is Tina. She was fine. I think there's a lot of decisions she makes that I question, but I kind of chalked it up to her just being a kid. So, but like I feel like I really shouldn't have to. Like I don't really want to watch a movie about somebody who's making stupid decisions with the explanation that they're not really old enough to be making smart decisions. Like the fact that she finds this thing and then like, well, it's I don't know. I would never hold on to an egg that seemed like fairly magical as far as, the egg like grows over time. It starts off as just a small bird's egg and then it's like this huge thing, probably like 3 feet long by the time it hatches. And like that would have me disturbed enough to get rid of it. Like I wouldn't keep that in my bed. But this child does. And then when it hatches, it's like clearly a monster, but for whatever reason, she feels connected to it like a pet almost. And I don't know, I just can't relate. I think it was very illogical decisions. So it's hard to get on board with that. Next up, the mother I thought was just a very horrible person. Maybe she's got some backstory that has made her life miserable and that's why she acts this way. We didn't see any of that. She's just a very superficial person who wants to pretend that she has a really nice life for her blog when she is very like demanding of her children, especially her daughter. She's like stresses her daughter out through like for her gymnastic competition and stuff like that. And then she also just doesn't really like care for them. She shows more affection to somebody else's baby than she does to her own daughter. And then she also like straight up tells her daughter like up until then she's never loved anybody truly, and but now she's met somebody. And like what a horrible thing to say to your own child. So it's just and then asking her child to keep a secret that she's having an affair, and then talking about the affair to her daughter. Like again, what a cruel thing to do to a child. It's just crazy. So that was the mom. The dad, I think, just has his own issues. He's either an idiot and has no idea what's going on, or he's a pushover. And either way, he does not come across like he's just a very, kind of weak character. And the son is just a spoiled brat. So all of them are like deeply flawed, very unlikable, and the story outside of that just wasn't engaging for me. Like this was probably the one of the longest hour and a half films I've seen. And so yeah, I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I mean there is one like seemingly good character, uh the other love interest for the mom, and that's, I think his name is Taro. Yeah, I think his name is Taro. But like when he's interacting with Tinia, then like he seems like a decent person, and he's very kind towards her to an extent, although he does like barge into her room and she's not his kid. So like that was pretty weird. I'm like that crosses the line. I don't think you can just barge into a young girl's room without, like, I don't think he had sufficient reasons. So that was like she was clearly wanting him to stay out. So that was a little strange. But like he seems kind enough, but like he's also, I think, very clearly aware that he's having an affair with this woman, even though from like his end he's a widower and he's not. Like if it was just his side of the equation, it wouldn't be an affair. But he's having an affair with a married woman, and then yeah, it's, I don't know. There's a whole lot of like that's, you're like, okay, you'll do that, but then you're nice to the daughter, and it's just kind of a weird character. And then the last thing I think I audibly laughed out loud at one point in the movie because they introduced this new location to the and like the probably the second, maybe it's like 2/3 of the way through the movie, but they introduce this new location, and it's just like rundown shack, like clearly looks like it belongs in a horror film. And I just laughed out loud. I'm like, because of course, if they're gonna introduce a new location, it's gonna look like that. And like when there really wasn't any reason, like I don't know, it just seemed out of place and very forced to bring that into the film. But yeah, that kind of, yeah, as you can tell, we'll kind of wrap things up. As you can tell, I did not care for this film overall. This is a film I did not enjoy in the least. I think, and that mainly just stems a big portion of it to I don't like horror. So if you do like horror, maybe you would enjoy this. But the fact that I don't like horror, and then in my opinion, it didn't have anything to like engage or interest me outside of like on top of that, made it just a completely unenjoyable experience for me. So I would give this a letter grade of a D. That's the lowest letter that I give to movies. It's not, yeah, it's one that for me personally, I feel like, or I wish I hadn't seen it. It felt kind of like a waste of time given other stuff I could be watching. But, it is what it is. Hopefully other people will enjoy it more. I certainly, wouldn't hope that other people enjoy it or don't enjoy it at the same level that I do. If other people can enjoy it, that's great. But I definitely was thoroughly confused why this was at 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I personally don't see it, but, hey, maybe I'm just within that, 10% that don't like it. But yeah, that does it for my review for Hatching. If you've had a chance to see the film, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, especially if you did like it. I'd like to, I'm curious, what people do like about this film, given that I personally didn't really find anything enjoyable about it. But share your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews. But with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next review.